Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. My name is Bethan. I am a first year medical student in the UK that has just finished 2 gap years. I love travel, I love gap years, and I'm making a series all about it, which is this video here is part of the series, which is going to be 10 ideas for things to do on your gap year in case you are wanting to take one but you don't actually know where to start. Some of these things in this video are stuff that I have done before on my gap years, and other stuff is stuff that I didn't get a chance to do but I wish I had done, or things that I only recently heard about and I thought, well, that would have been a cool thing to know about 2 years ago when I was planning my gap year. But yeah, so I really hope you enjoy this video. I hope you find it useful, and make sure you subscribe down below because this video is part of a series. So next week's video is going to be covering all of the planning and organisation tips for gap year, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. But yeah, enough of this boring intro bits. Let's get into the gap year ideas. Now, to kick this list off, I'm going to be talking about making a new hobby for yourself, and this is something that I definitely didn't think I'd be doing on my gap year, but I did a lot of. I started this YouTube channel and I learned how to dive. I tried a couple of other things that I wasn't very good at, but I tried a bunch of new hobbies, and a few of them, like photography, my YouTube channel, diving, a few of them stuck, and I am so glad they did. I think when I was at college and high school before my gap years, I didn't really have that many hobbies other than I used to do dance, and the reason for that was I was literally just so busy with socialising or school that I didn't really have any of the time to start any of these hobbies, and honestly I'm so glad I did. I've had so much fun with different hobbies over the years, and especially if you are currently in lockdown at the minute, which if you're watching this video as it's going live, I think we all are, it's definitely a really good thing to be able to get into that you actually don't need to leave your house for. You don't necessarily need a lot of money. I mean, if you want to start a YouTube channel, you've got your phone. If you want to start a blog, you've got a computer. If you want to start art, pen and paper. Hobbies can be a really cheap way of doing something really fun in your gap year, and you never know where it might take you. You might start photography and realise you want to be a photographer, and it could take you in a whole new direction, or you could just do something really fun like learning to dive, which is what I did, and it's a really fun and amazing hobby that you can use a lot of when you do different things on your gap year. So yeah, that is something that I would definitely recommend when taking a gap year. Now I feel like it's no surprise that, given the fact that it's a video on this channel, that I am going to be suggesting this, but it's gotta be travelling. I cannot recommend anything other than travel more as something to do on a gap year. Now I know due to the current situation, Miss Rona is making it a little bit hard for us to travel right now, but that doesn't mean that you can't travel. You know, you can do travelling in the country that you live in. That's something that I didn't do a lot of during my gap year, and honestly I kind of wish I had. The UK has some amazing spots to discover, and I really wish I'd spent more time here discovering them. Also, there are a bunch of countries that are low on the COVID restrictions at the minute that you are able to go and travel to. It's definitely not going to be the same in the current situation, but if you weigh up your pros and cons, lists and everything that you want to do your own research and stuff, but travel is still possible. And you know what, try solo traveling because it is amazing. I will link my video down below of everything I learned from solo travel, but it has made me a completely new person, and as much as solo travel at times can be hard, it is the most liberating feeling knowing that, you know what, anything I want to do, I can do it by myself. I don't need anyone else to go places, I can just do it by myself. It's a really good feeling, and a gap year is the perfect time to experience that. Now, something that I definitely wish that I'd looked more into when I was taking my gap year is language immersion and learning a new language. A gap year is an amazing experience to be able to try and learn a new language because you've got so much more free time on your hands that you can dedicate to learning something new, whether that is learning a language or something else. You can really go all in and do a language immersion, which I wish I had looked into doing because I just wasn't aware that it was a thing when I was planning my gap year. But basically, language immersion is where you go and live with a family in whatever country that you are learning the language for, and that means you get a really authentic experience of the culture, and you can meet new people, make friends that way. You'll go and like practice speaking it speaking the language in the country that you're in. You might do classes. Every language immersion course is slightly different, so look into the options that will suit you. But I think a language immersion would be incredible in order to experience a different culture, but also to really be able to hone your skills and learn a new language. I think that would be super, super cool. Now, the next thing that I would say that you've got to be doing on your gap year, and it's not necessarily the fun one, but it's so, so useful, is becoming smart with money. Because I don't know about you, but in high school and college and all of that, I was not taught a single thing about money, and then suddenly I had all of this free time where I was able to earn money and make money mistakes and learn from them. So first off, you've got to get yourself earning some money, because having savings, having a good credit score, being financially more independent is such a good thing, and it cannot be like, you can't describe how much of a good thing it is. It's just amazing. And if you can go into whatever you're doing post gap year with a bit of financial security, whether that is in savings, or if you earn money and you maybe buy a car, or you, I don't know, something that is going to be of value for you, it's really, really useful. So I think definitely save some money and then try and learn how to be good with money, whether that is building a good credit score, best ways of saving money, maybe investing in ISAs, things like that. I don't really know all the technical stuff, but learning how to be good with money, investing money, saving money, it's all really, really good. And on a gap year, it's the perfect opportunity to be able to do it, especially if you're having to save up for certain things on your gap year. It definitely teaches you how to be good with money and how to save it. And yeah, so I would definitely recommend that you do that. Now, something that could actually kind of link in with my last point is trying to get experience in a field of work that you are interested in. Now, this could be paid or unpaid internships, it could be volunteering, or it could be actually getting a job in that field. For me personally, I'm interested in healthcare, hence I'm currently at medical school, and I got a job working in a hospital, and that definitely gave me really good insight into the field that I want to work in. So I'm definitely going to be much more confident and much better trying to progress through the career ladder, and I have a lot more information available to me specifically because of my experiences on my gap year. But also, I now definitely know that healthcare is what I want to do. I've worked there for 2 years and I've really enjoyed all my time there, and I'm really glad I did it. Had I not done any of that, there's a good chance that I will be going to medical school thinking, I don't really know if I actually want to do this. So getting some experience in a couple of different fields that you're interested in can be really valuable experience, because one, you definitely know it's what you want to do, so you're investing your time wisely post gap year, and also it's a great way that you can either spice up your CV a little bit, or, you know, if it is paid work, obviously that's also going to help you save money, become money smart, and all of that, which is really good. Now, something else that I would definitely say is an important thing that you can do on a gap year, and you can definitely be doing on your gap year at the minute, that isn't maybe something that you necessarily have ever thought of before, but I think now you've got all this free time where you're not necessarily tied down to school or college or whatever, I think it's really important to maybe spend a little bit of time trying to educate yourself on important issues. Now, this is definitely important no matter what you're doing with your life right now, but I do think that a gap year is a great opportunity because you can educate yourself on important issues, for example, racism at the minute, white supremacy, everything that's going on in China at the minute. You know, maybe like there's like a bunch of different things that you could do. I'm trying to think of examples like about gender inequality and things like that. There's a bunch of important issues, and just pick one that is really close to your heart that you could maybe educate yourself on. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be something like racism or the gender inequality. It could be something like the environmental issues and things like that, and stuff that we can be doing to help those causes at the minute. And a gap year is a great opportunity for this, is because you do have a little bit more free time where you can go out and you can actually make a difference and make a change with the things at the minute, because you've got the time to, you're not stuck in timetables all day. So whether that is you learn about stuff to do with the environment and you educate yourself on that, and maybe you spend a little bit of time going out into the environment and working in volunteer programs trying to improve it, or whether you spend your time educating yourself on racism, which I definitely recommend that you do, and then do what you can to try and educate other people, and you know, maybe support the cause in whatever way you can, and sign as many positions as you can, because that's definitely something you've got time to do on a gap year. Now, something else that you definitely could be doing on your gap year, which obviously it depends on the situations at the time that you're taking a gap year with all this stuff going on at the minute, but something that you definitely could be doing is something like Interrailing. Now, at the minute, I don't know how much of the Interrailing program is going on, but there are a bunch of European countries that you are still able to travel in between, so Interrailing definitely may still be an option for you. And depending on when you're taking a gap year, hopefully if like you're starting it next year, you'll definitely be able to be doing Interrailing by then. Ooh. If you don't know what Interrailing is, it's basically where you get a train pass for however many days or however many countries that you want, and you can basically take trains all around Europe. It's something that is really popular to do on gap years, and I personally didn't do it, but it's something that I definitely would considering doing in the future. And I apologise about the light in the shot, it's been really annoying. Now, another amazing thing that you are actually able to do on gap years is volunteering when it comes to wildlife programs or to kind of ecological support programs. I have spoken a little bit before about how I'm not the biggest fan of voluntary programs, and part of that is that you need to be really careful of volunteerism. If you don't know what that is, it's basically where people go doing volunteer work, but really they're actually not doing any good, they're doing more harm to the places that they're going to than anything. So you do need to be careful with your research, that you are helping the community that you are trying to help, and you do need to do it with proper programs where all the stuff's in place that should be in place, basically. So really just do your research with that. But things like ecological work, you know, I know there's a lot of programs like releasing sea turtles or building habitats again for endangered species. All of that stuff is amazing work that could last generations for those animals, and it would be an amazing experience. There's definitely nothing else in the world like it. The thing with volunteer programs is that you maybe don't get to go and see the country that you're in quite as much, but that's, you know, it's up to you. It depends on what experience that you're after, and also due to COVID, a lot of these volunteer programs may not have been running the last few months, and they definitely will be needing all the help and support that they can get. So do your research, see which ones are running, see if any of them are safe to do in your experience, in like your opinion and things like that. Make sure you do your research first, but also remember, you don't have to go abroad to do these volunteer programs. You can do it right here in the UK or wherever it is that you're living. So yeah. Now, something else that I would definitely suggest that you do on a gap year is try to achieve a goal that you are working towards. Now, an example of this could be, I don't know, maybe passing your driving test. That's something that I did in my gap year, or getting a certain qualification. So some people do like TEFL qualifications so that they can teach English abroad, or you know, I did my PADI scuba diving. That was an awesome thing that I did. That was a new qualification to get. Something that you really want to do that maybe you've not necessarily had the time to do before, and that is a physical thing that you can really work towards. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do online, like online courses and things like that at the minute, if you don't want to be going outside, and that could have a bunch of really cool opportunities for you. So yeah. And the last thing that you can be doing on your gap year is something that I actually mentioned in my previous video, if you watched that, but it is working abroad in holiday campsites and things like that, specifically for Eurocamp, which is an awesome opportunity to do. I think the Camping and Caravan Club may also do this, but basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about, essentially you can apply for a job to work in a campsite abroad, and it's a great way to meet other people doing gap years as well, because it's quite a common thing to do. But basically, you live on the campsite, you work there, you get paid to do it, but in your time off you can travel the country and explore the area that you're in, which is really cool. So yeah, that is another thing you can be doing on your gap year. now that is it for today's video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you got a little bit of inspiration of some things that you can do on a gap year. I will try and leave all the relevant links below for anything that you've mentioned, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like it. It really helps me with the YouTube algorithm, get my tiny little channel seen to some people, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy this video, because there are more videos just like this coming up. Next week I'm going to be going over the best ways to plan for a gap year, which I have quite a lot of really good tips for that one, so I think that that will definitely be very useful if you are thinking about taking a gap year or are on a gap year. So yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.
Hey darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the